3 access controls.
Yes. So this week we're going to discuss access control list.
So main on permissions like that?
Mostly about permissions. So access control list is actually provide a way to identify different types of packet. IPv4 access control list gives a way to identify different types of packets. That is the main thing with access control list. Common functions of ACLs is the packet filter. So they do the packet filtering. When enabled on interface, allow or discard IP packets. Other functions, match packets for quality of service features, match voice packets, match packets for NAT. So this is the main job. If we looked at one example about last week, right? So let's say we have a one PC, and this side we have one subnet, which is 10.0 subnet, and this side we have a 20.0 subnet, right? Two different subnet. In between, we have a 10.1.1.0 subnet. And once you configure the routing in between two routers, that means this PC will be able to send traffic over there, and this PC also will be able to send traffic back to here because they have the routing. Routing means a packet can be traveled in multiple subnet. Now let's have a look. Let's test this configurations. I'll go to command prompt, ipconfig. Okay, I got 10.1 IP. I want to ping the destination's PC, which is this PC. IP address is 192.168.20.1. Let's see it's pinging or not. Yeah, it's pinging. Right, so pinging means we have the routing. So how to check the routing? If we open our router, go to CLI, enable, and show IP route. So show IP route command will show this is the show IP route command. So it's showing that we have routing over there. So last week we configured the RIP, and we can see that RIP configurations is still here. What is 120? Is the administrative distance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what is 1? 1 is the hop, number of hop.
Oh, okay.
So basically we have 1 hop. Okay. Now, so this PC always can ping that PC, and this PC always can ping this PC because we have the routing. Now with the access control list, what we can do, we can restrict that network. Let's say from this router, if we want to stop pinging from this network, we can actually block individual traffic, individual IP, or like an entire network. We can deny. With the access control list, we can deny, we can allow. So this kind of things we can do. Okay. We can allow certain packets, we can deny certain packets. Now let's go back to our lectures. So access control list, mostly it's used for packet filtering. Packet is which layer? Based on our website is layer 3. So it does the layer 3 packet filtering. Now ACL locations and directions. Access control lists are applied inbound to the router before it makes it forwarding or routing decisions. This is called entrance interface. And outgoing, which is after the router makes its forwarding decisions, this is called exit interface. That means traffic will go in this way. You can filter the traffic from here. Filter means whether you want to allow or deny, you can do it from here. Or for this router point of view, when something coming inside the router, you can either allow or you can deny as well. So this kind of things you can do. Remember, and this is layer 3 packet filtering. So mostly when you configure the access control list, we use two kind of keys. One is deny and permit. So Cisco command and context is very user friendly. You can see deny means something you want to deny from here. And permit means you are permitting something over there, right? So for example, in this case, 10.1.1, which is this PC, you want to allow that PC from here. And if you want to discard 10.1.1.2, you want to discard from here. So that means you want to allow and you want to deny. With the access control list configurations, you'll be able to do this kind of things. Access control list logic. First match logic. Once a packet match on one line in the ACL, router takes the action listed in the line. Does not look forward in the ACL. So what it means, let's say we have 3 devices in here in this router 1, and in router 2, we have some statement like we want to permit, we want to deny, and we want to permit. So these 3 statements we write down, and when any traffic coming to this router, so router will verify the first line. First line is saying if source is 10.1.1, you permit. So if router match this line, so router will take the decisions based on the informations. It will not check like second and third line. Then if another traffic came in, router will check the first line is not matching, check the second line is matching. So it will take based on the decisions based on this second line. So it will not check the third line. So what it means, router will not check every line and take the decisions. It will take the decisions based on first match logic, like first line. So what it means, something you say, okay, I want to deny this 10.1.1.1, right? After a while, if you say allow, router will not check that one because router will check only the first one. Understand? This is called fast match logic. So in access control list, router think in this way. So remember this fast match logic. Now in access control list, we have a few types. Standard ACL, standard ACL, extended ACL, named ACL. Standard ACL only check the source IP. So what it means, if we go to our pictures, if we configure one standard ACL, so it will check only source. Maybe this is the source, but extended one check the source and destinations, like where the packet came from and where the packet is going. It will match both. But a standard one only check the source addresses. Okay. So that is the difference between standard and extended ACL. After that, we have named ACL. Named ACL, which is they don't use any of these kind of numbers. They actually use the name. Such as this one has, if you configure any standard access control list, we need to use any of the number from this block. If we configure any extended ACL, we need to use any number from this block. Or else, we have another method of configuring access control list, which is named ACLs. Let's have a look one of the example of standard ACL. Standard ACL, we have access list 1, permit. Access list 1 means number, like when you have to put any number, you can put 1, 5, 10, any number you like. From that this block. From this block, we need to put any number. After that, what do you want to do? You want to permit or deny? Only 2 things we have. So you say you want to permit. Okay, what do you want to permit? You want to permit 10.1.1.1. This IP address you want to permit. After that, we have one thing called wildcard mask. Source wildcard mask. What is a wildcard mask? Wildcard mask is 0 and 1, 0 and 1. These 2 things is important in wildcard mask. If you looked at 0, the router must compare this octet as normal. And if it is 255, the router ignores this octet. So there's the two things in here. In this scenario, if you put 0.0.0.0, router will compare each of the octet. It will match exactly each of the octet in here. But if you put next one, if you see access list 99 deny 10.1.1.1 0.0.0.255. So 255 means ignore bit. So router will match only 10.1.1. Router will not check the last block because 255. That's how it's kind of like a on and off in this way it works. Now access list 20 permit 0.0.0.0 and we have wildcard mask 255, 255, 255, 255. That means the router will ignore each of the octet. Okay. So that's how we using the wildcard mask. Let's have a look some more example. Single host permit and deny. Wildcard mask is 0.0.0.0 is used. We can use host, for example, access list 1 deny 172.16.3.10 and 0.0.0.0. This is the wildcard mask we put here. Instead of that, we can say access list 1 deny. Instead of wildcard mask for single host, we can put simply host and put 172.16.3.10 like that. All IP addresses permit and deny. Wildcard mask is this one. We can use any instead of wildcard mask. For example, access list 1 permit 0.0.0.0 255, 255, 255, 255. So that means any. So this one means ignore, right? It will ignore everything or just you permitting any is the same thing. You can put either like that or like any, but normally we put any. If you want to permit all or deny all, we simply put any. Okay. Now some example. We have router 2 in here and we have some statement in here. Match and permit all packets with a source address of exactly 10.1.1.1, right? Match and deny all packets with source address with first 3 octets 10.1.1. Match and permit all addresses with first single octet 10. This is like some statements, like you want to implement these things inside your router. So first thing you can see access list 1 permit, right? Is saying that you want to permit those packets. So you can say access list 1. What is a 1? 1 is the number. A number for standard ACL. Permit, you want to permit this one. But this one, only thing missing is wildcard mask, right? We can put 0.0.0.0 because this is a single host, or we can put host before this IP address. Second one saying match and deny all packets with source address with first 3 octets 10.1.1. So access list 1 deny, we want to match anything with 10.1.1.0. 0 means it will not check the last block, right? 0.0.0. It will not check the last one. So third one, match and permit all address with first single octet 10. So access list 1 permit, what you want to permit? You want to permit anything with 10. So 10.0.0.0, even if you put 10.5.3.1 or something, router will ignore this 3 block because router will check only 0 corresponding this octet it will check, but other 3 octet it will not check. It will not compare. It will ignore. Okay, so that's the 3 different types of example. It's just showing how we configure the access control list inside the router. Now, in case if we got some complex subnet mask like 172.16.8.0, it has a subnet mask 255, 255, 252.0. It's a different subnet mask. In this case, what are you going to do? How to find the right wildcard mask? You do 255, 255, 255, 255 minus, just put the subnet mask. Once you do subtract, then you get 0.0.3.255. So that's the correct wildcard mask, right? That's how we can write down the complex wildcard mask as well. So what is implicit and explicit deny? So these terms we need to remember. Implicit, explicit deny, if any statement is matched in the ACL for a packet for deny. So that means explicit deny means you tell that you want to deny that particular packets or particular IP or particular network. But implicit deny, implicit means if a router compares a packet to the ACL and the packet matches none of the configured statement, the router discards the packet. So that means if router actually, implicit deny means if a router compares a packet to the ACL and the packet matches none of the configured. That means if you may have some subnet in your network, but it didn't tell anything. It didn't configure anything. So router doesn't know anything about the network. Router not sure about whether it will allow or deny because it didn't configure anything. In this scenario, it will be implicit deny. If router doesn't know anything, it will deny. That is called implicit deny. Okay. And explicit deny means you configure, you say, hey, I want to deny that particular network or packets. Cool. So implementation. So basically we have a, when we implement, we need to think few things like plan the locations and directions on the interface. Whether you want to apply in here, you want to apply in here, or you want to apply over there, where you want to apply. If you want to apply in here, maybe you're thinking about this subnet. But if you're applying here, maybe you entire subnet you want to control. So you just need to specify where you want to configure. After that, you need to configure globally. Like global configurations mode, we need to configure the access control list. Global means, remember, like we do config, and after that we configure something. Once you configure globally, then third one, we need to assign these informations in the particular interface. It could be inside interface, it could be outside interface. So enable the ACL on the chosen router interface in the correct directions. Like you want to, this interface you want to apply, or this interface you want to apply, so you need to decide that one. Okay. Now after that, we have extended access control list. Extended is, so what is the standard so far we discuss? Standard access control list only check the source IP, but extended one, it will check both source and destinations, both of them. Such as we have this one, matching options. Access control list will match source and IP. So access control list 101, then it will permit or deny. Then particular protocol, it will permit or deny. After that, source IP and destinations IP, right? Or optionally, it can match the source port and destinations port as well. So access list 101, it will permit protocols. So you can see that you can do many different granular control inside the router, like which protocol you want to allow or deny, which port you want to allow or deny. So this is the most secure part we configure in the router. Any router in the world, they have this access control list. In your home router, also some of the ACL is already configured over there. So because with that, like for example, some particular website you want to block, this one, particular protocol you want to block, some port you want to block. So protocol and port is related with any applications. So that's the advantages. Now example of FTP21 control port to the server. So extended ACLs differ from standard ACLs, matches the protocols, source IP and destinations IP. Let's say we have source is this one, source port is this one. So let's say we have one subnet in here and we have a router in here, there's a router 2 here, and this is the destinations addresses. So if you want to control something, we can say access list 101 permit TCP. We are configuring in here. Permit TCP. What we want to permit? We want to permit this network. We say 172.16.1.0 wildcard mask 0.0.0.255. Then destinations network, we say 172.16.3.0 0.0.0.255 and then equal to 21. So this is the statement we can configure. After that, this information we can assign inside the interface. IP access group, then you put the group number, which is could be 101 or something, and then in or out. That means you have to verify inside, or when something going outside, that time you want to match these informations. There are some more example with the extended one, such as in this network we have Larry, we have Bob, we have Jerry, and we have Jimmy, right? So denies Bob access to all FTP servers on R1's Ethernet, right? Deny Bob. What is Bob? This is the Bob. You want to deny Bob to FTP servers on R1. This is the R1, and this is, we have some servers. Do you know which one is the FTP servers? Not sure, right? Because there is not written in here. It's saying just servers. But what is the FTP port number? Port number?
21.
21, yes. So FTP port number 21, yes.
Sure.
So that's correct, yes. So if you want to control, this kind of scenario, we can use the port number. With that, we can control, okay? Now, second one, denies Larry access. We know who is Larry. This is the Larry is the source. Access to server 1. Server 1 is the destinations. And web server. What is web server? Web server is always running in port number 80. Okay? Port number 80. So Jimmy telnets server 2 every time. Stop him to telnet server 2. What is Jimmy? This is Jimmy is the source. Destinations is server 2. And you want to stop Jimmy to access server 2. We can put a restrictions in here or over there, but most likely in here because you have like 4 people. You have to manage from here. So what is the port number for telnet? Telnet port number 23. So this is day 2 topics. All of the topics we need to remember. Okay, this is the day 2 topics. Okay. Now look at that. Access list, how to write down these informations. If we write down access list 101, remark stop Bob to FTP servers and Larry to server 1 web. So access list 101, what is a remark? Remark is kind of like a descriptions. You write down some descriptions. Stop Bob to FTP servers by Bob and Larry to server 1 web. So you can write down access list 101, deny TCP host 172.16.3.10 which is TCP host is 3.10. This is 3.10, right? Host means single host. You can put either 0.0.0.0 wildcard, or you can use single host. Now destinations network, which is 172.16.1.0. 0 means entire network, because we are not sure which one is FTP servers. So you say equal to FTP, or you can put equal to 21. Both of them will work. Access list 101, deny TCP host 172.16.2.10. 2.10, this person is Larry, and destinations is host 172.16.1.100. So this is the destinations equal to HTTP. HTTP, you can put HTTP, or you can put AT as well, or you can put www as well. So these things, this access control list will accept. But equal to HTTP, that's actually 1.100. We're talking about this server 1. After that, next one, access list 101, deny TCP host 172.16.3.8. This is the host. Jimmy is 3.8, and destinations is host, again single host 172.16.1.102, which is server 2, equal to 23. So that is the port number 23 for telnet, right? So once you do all these 3 lines, and after that, what we
Sorry, why we are writing host at line 2 on line 3?
in here?
No, here. After the first IP address. Yeah, here, the third line. Yeah.
Third line, this one?
Yes, why we are writing host second time?
Because source is a single host, destinations is the single host.
Ah, okay.
This is a 2.10 single host, 1.100 single host, that's why.
Ah, thank you.
But will it matter without the host or with host?
Sorry, say again.
Will it matter if there's a host word or remark and without the host? Is it still the same, or it would, the outcome
So
should
you
be
must
different?
have to put host, or you put 0.0.0.0. So
Okay.
you can put, like example we have looked at before. Either you can put, for the single host descriptions, you can put 0.0.0.0 in order to specify single host, or instead of that, you can put single host. Both of them will work.
Okay.
So now access list 101, deny TCP host. This is also talking about single source and single destinations, equal to 23. So access list 101, permit IP any. After then, let's say this 1, 2, 3, 4. After this line, what will happen with Jerry? Because you didn't mention anything about Jerry, right? You talked about Larry, Bob, and Jimmy. So what will happen with Jerry? So Jerry will be automatically deny, right? So if you do not mention anything inside your router, there will be deny. So if there's a deny, this is no good. That's why we can do access list 101 permit IP any. So why to any? One is source, one is destinations. Okay. If you put the last line, that means it will allow everybody else. Okay. Understand so far? Any questions in here?
No, all good.
Okay, cool. Now after that, let's back to our logic. If we now you say this is the 5th line. Okay, first one is descriptions. Ignore the first one. Now 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, you should put the number in here. Then it will be easy. So 4 line, right? This 4th line. Now, first one is just like a remark. Remark means descriptions. First one. So you can actually put the first line as well. That's also okay. Okay. First line is just a descriptions, is a remark. Remark means a description, so it will not make any, anything changes. But number 2 line, we talked about somebody. Number 3, we talked about somebody, right? Number 3, we talked about, number 4, we talked about some user in here. Now, number 5th, we say everybody we allow, right? Now later on we change our mind and say, okay, we want to deny Larry now. No, you want to allow. So you allow, and later on you say you want to deny Larry. Now later on you change your mind, you say I want to allow Larry now. Larry, what are you going to do? So you need to say another line, right? Access list and 101 permit TCP host Larry, and I want to permit. But what problem is, because you say already said you deny in here, router will take decisions based on the first match logic. It will not check your 6th line, number 6 line, it will not check, right? Because first match logic. What will happen now? So you need to remove this one. You need to remove this one, and then you need to fix this problem, right? Because that's how we can make your sequence number correct. But in this case, if we say, and now permit any, first of all, if you number 5 permit any, after that a new host, if you want to deny, you can't, because if router check number 5th line, it will allow everybody. So that's the problem. So for that, you need to remove this line, correct? You need to remove and add a new line. In this way, you can put that line in up. Now, if you do that, the problem is, if you delete a single line, if you say no access list 101 permit IP any, that means you denying this line. Okay, you're denying. So, but this will delete the entire ACL. If you have many configurations in here, whole lot of configurations you do, it will deny everything. So that's why it's very dangerous to remove this line. So what we need to do in this case, we need to put all the access control list in a notepad. We need to reorganize our access control list, and then you're going to configure again or put the new configurations in the router. Understand? And we must have to have a backup for this access control list what we have configured. If we do not have a backup, it will be very hard to manage the systems. Now another kind of access control list we have, this is named ACL. So names identify the access control list. Access control list subcommands, not the global commands. Access control list editing features that allow the CLI user to delete individual lines from the ACL and insert the new lines. We can remove individual lines and you can insert the new lines. So how to configure these systems? If you looked at IP access list extended Barney. See, we didn't use any number in here. So previous configurations, if we go back, we always use 101, 101, something like that. We use some numbers. But this one, we didn't use any numbers. We have used IP access list extended Barney. So permit TCP host 10.1.1.2 equal to www and then any. Then deny UDP host, this one source, this one destinations. Deny IP, this one is source, this one is destinations. Deny this one, and then permit IP any. So this one, simply you have the name, under that name you have all these configurations. So interface serial 1, after that, once you do these configurations, then you take the interface and IP access group, then put the name. You can put either in or you can put out, right? So that's how we do the configurations. After that, if you see, if you want to delete one of the line, you can say You logged into the IP access list extended Barney. And after that, if you want to deny this line, you can put no and deny this line. So show access list, this is the show command we have. With that, we'll be able to see all the show commands. Okay. So another options we have with the new editing access control list using the sequence numbers. New configurations style for numbered, deleting single lines, inserting new lines, automatic sequence number. So you can configure all these things, and this kind of configurations is also very simple. IP access list standard 24. This is the standard ACL we are configuring, and 24 is any number we can put over there. Any number from standard block. Now you can say permit, you want to permit 10.1.1.0 with a wildcard 0.0.0.255. You want to permit this network. Then you want to permit another network which is 2.0, permit another network which is 3.0. You are permitting this network. After that, if you want to see the access control list show command, you can say do show IP access list 24. We can use do if you are in a config mode, and if you want to run a show command, we can put do show and then you can put the command. It is showing you that all the standard IP access list, this is the one access control list, this is another one, and this is another one. After that, if you want to remove one of the line from this configuration, so you can simply say no 20. And then it will remove this line. If you do again, do show IP access list 24. So it will show the standard IP access list 24. This is the 10, 30. So 20 has been removed. If you do, and if you want to insert a new line, you can say 5 deny 10.1.1.1. So you're removing that one. If you remove that one, then do show IP access list 24. Then you can see that new line has been added. So with this new configurations with the sequence number, such as IP access list standard 24, with this kind of like configurations, it's very simple to remove a line. It's also simple to remove. Simply put no 20, that's how you can remove. If you want to insert a new line, simply you can put 5 deny, and this one, this line will be added. So if you want to input another line before 30, so you can put 20 permit or deny, so you can put in the line in the middle. Cool. So so this is the few different options we have to configure the access control list. So if you review these topics, I think it will be easy, and after that you need to do some practices. Now we're going to look at one of the example in here.